Choose your fighter. Mario. Choose your fighter. Mario. Ready? Two, one, go! Game. Next wins. Choose your fighter. Ready? Three, two, one, go!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you grabbed your snacks. It seems like our little audio issue has been solved at this
Hopefully,
point.
you can hear our
Hopefully,
wonderful voices.
knock on wood. If that is not the case, then what I just said is really funny. But if you're just rejoining us here, Insignia is sitting pretty with one stock, and Tony Pajamas is no longer part of the lobby. Here, we got Bird coming through. Looks like on the Pac-Man. That is a pick that we do not see particularly often, but it's one that excites me.
To say the least, I am quite surprised to see anyone play Pac-Man. I feel like I never really hear of anyone having Pac-Man as a main, so definitely nice to get a little bit of variety when all you're used to is the same fighters that SNHU plays. You know, so it's something to kind of shake things up a little bit.
Absolutely, and I'm really excited to see what this Pac-Man gets done here, because Pac-Man is a character with such a high skill ceiling. There are things you can do on Pac-Man that you cannot do with any other character in this game. DLC, non-DLC, otherwise, like it doesn't matter. Pac-Man just has so many tricks up the sleeve, but as of right now, not really being able to use them too much. Gets a bunch of damage, but it to me feels like Insignia is not really under a huge threat right now.
Not under huge threat, yes. However, it seems like Pac-Man is really able to deal a lot of damage at once, and yes, the Pac-Man is sustaining over 100%, but definitely doing a number on Insignia with just all those, I don't want to say gimmicks, but all those little tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, watch out too for that Pac-Man neutral B, because that Pac-Man neutral B does have that bell, and if that bell hits, you get stunned. Although falling into the fire hydrant, into the key, that's a lot of damage! Into the next fruit, and oh!
Wow. I mean, I never thought the following words would leave my mouth, but a well-timed fruit is something I did not expect to talk about today.
It seems that we have to take Bowser back to, like, what? 3rd grade nutrition? Bro's gotta start remembering to...
We gotta teach him about the food pyramid.
Yeah!
You know, fruits are important, provided they're not pixelated and being thrown at your face.
Yeah, those sharp edges, they're not good for you.
Yeah, a little too pixelated for my taste, but I believe
like
crust is going in.
I feel like it feels like to me, and if you disagree, you can yell at me. But it felt to me like Bird, when they were actually able to get something going because of some opportunity, some slip up, that is when they were able to get the most work done. In the interim, they felt kind of stagnant. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure I do. Stagnant, you say?
They would just like put down a fire hydrant. They'd back up a little bit because Insignia would start bashing it. They'd send out a fruit, and then it would repeat, kind of flowcharty, until an opportunity came in. You know, a couple neutrals would come through, and then you get that target acquired. Bird would go in for the kill, send out those fruits.
See, the thing with the fire hydrant, I mean, it is true that Bowser was getting that fire hydrant off the stage as soon as possible, and Pac-Man was able to adapt by throwing one of Pac-Man's various projectiles. However, I think that's the draw there, because the fire hydrant is already a pretty tough obstacle to have on stage, because it could just irrefutably push you around the stage, and it can be really good for zoning. So I think they're taking advantage of the fact of trying to get that obstacle off stage while sending another obstacle that is otherwise unavoidable during the process of like hitting the fire hydrant.
Yeah,
I think that was their technique here.
That's the thing about Pac-Man too, is no matter what he's doing, you kind of have to be wary of it, especially because we don't see Pac-Mans. We have no idea what they're cooking, quite frankly.
Well, I can tell you what they're cooking with. They're cooking with a lot of fruits.
A lot of fruits. A bell. A key.
A Galaga.
Yeah, I don't know what dish they're making out of that, but
they're making a really good Namco museum.
They stopped making those good ones years ago, but I'll leave that rant for next time. Cross, as you said, coming in this time on the Falco. Back to the roots. This is going to be a fun one.
You know, Falco being pretty quick compared to a Pac-Man here, it seems like they're on pretty equal footing speed-wise, and, Falco's really able to get some good early damage on the Pac-Man here. You know, I feel like this is a pretty good matchup in favor of SNHU.
That's so sick. Past the lingering recovery of Pac-Man there. No bounce required. Crush just sent him down. That's already a stock gun. We're less than a minute into this.
I gotta say, I knew this was gonna be a fun matchup, but I did not expect a stock to be taken so quickly. I mean, Falco's Reflector, just in general, can be really helpful with those projectile fruits that Pac-Man specializes in, provided you're on the stage, as we saw with the cherry there.
Absolutely. Watch next time that Bird throws down this hydrant when both of these players are in neutral. He's going to use it, unless I'm absolutely mistaken. Okay, he's not going to do it this time in particular, but historically, Bird's been using that hydrant to close the gap for that long-distance grab that Pac-Man has. That's what Bird has been using to get Crust off stage here. Now, finally, Crust the one back in the driver's seat. For a moment, the hydrant is a very dangerously positioned, able to make it back to stage. The back air, though, just too much. Crust not able to make it out with his life there.
Yeah, and, you know, the thing about Pac-Man's recovery as well is that, you know, we saw earlier with the fire hydrant on the recovery, that can also be very helpful for Falco here. You know, Falco's already pretty alright, because personally, he prefers the air, but so does Pac-Man, and Falco is able to just use that trampoline that's off stage right there to his advantage, which I think is a really interesting thing to take note of, considering Pac-Man's zoning techniques.
Absolutely! Look at the value that reflector just got. I believe a watermelon and the hydrant both getting caught by that, and Bird up to 75% of their last stock here. If Crust is able to take this game is just about even up. That's a lot of damage onto the shield, but Bird able to shield it out. Makes it back to stage, does Crust, but it seems like the pressure's on, the back air's there, and it's enough to kill through any kind of GI that Bird was pulling out there. An even number of players left remaining for both of these teams, just one stock difference.
I don't know what to say. I mean, wow. I mean, not for, like, you know, in favor of any team specifically here, because, like, that is just a fantastic match.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Look at Crust. Crust is over here. He's proud of himself. He knows what he done did. Bro was putting in the work.
Dude, absolutely. And this is a new spot. At least for us seeing Fisher, you know, I've seen a lot of these players and a lot of this team just kind of evolve and change over the past couple years. And the one constant has been that, you know, Tony Pajamas and I believe Luxa on the Palutena, those have been the two walls for Fisher.
Yeah, but, you know, Kiwi Pac-Man, well, now that's another one to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, evidently we're in uncharted waters here. We're in new territory, and I'm excited to be here. Quite frankly, glad I could finally recover from that Thursday cast there. But yeah, I mean, at this point, if I'm Fisher, I'm trying to think of how I respond to that, because I, as a team, haven't really been in a position where I've needed to respond to something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, you know, I mean, that's why it's important that when you're at the top to not necessarily let that, you know, get to your head. Not to say that it has for Fisher. You know, we've interacted with some people from Fisher, fantastic people, but, you know, they have to really, you know, this must feel like a paradigm shift on their end. You know, 2 players down. I mean, so are we, but
yeah, this game is even after they sent out one of their best. I think definitively. Nobody is going to confront me for saying that Tony Pajamas is really, really good, and like probably top 2 on this Fisher East squad. So losing one of those pillars so early, I mean, that's gotta do a number to your strategy.
That's true. It is got to do a number. Now, I'm sure it definitely has. But you also have to keep in mind, this is the first round of the set.
Mm-hmm.
It could very well be that, you know, let's say if SNHU were to take this one, you know, that is a hard battle well fought. But that doesn't necessarily take us out of the doghouse quite yet.
Absolutely not. And the same goes in the inverse. If Fisher take this game then we still have the whole rest of the set to go. I mean,
Well, that is just an uphill battle all on its own.
oh, absolutely. That's not a favorable option for SNHU, but it's one that they will take if they absolutely need to. I mean, I'm just so thrilled that this one looks like it might be going the distance.
You know, if you had told me like earlier today that I would be walking in to see more than 2 Fisher players in a Smash game tonight, I would not have believed you personally.
You have experienced more in, what, 3-4 weeks of casting Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the hit video game released by Nintendo, than I have my entire tenure here. I want to make that clear to you.
It's been a surreal few weeks.
You've had a ride at this point, and I feel like you're just along for it at this point.
Oh, of course I am. I mean, I love this game, but the competitive nature of collegiate esport, it hits different. It just does.
Absolutely. This is what makes, the crunch part of the semester feel not as bad, is because we have all these awesome games.
You can have
at the same time.
You can have all the exams and finals and essays in the world, but as long as you have like a broadcast like this in the background, it's really not so bad.
It's not so bad. Could be a whole lot worse.
Some good collegiate Smash to study and relax to.
I don't know. I don't
know about the relax part.
Yeah, with how loud we can get here, I don't know how much relaxing is happening behind those computer screens. There's certainly not a ton of relaxing while the action's on in the arena, but I cannot speak for anyone else here. It seems like we might be just about getting ready to go. If I heard some rumblings, and if they're correct, I believe Fisher is going to be sending out a wolf here.
A wolf and a falco? I'm sure there's a Star Fox game that features those two interacting with each other. I don't know where I was going with this joke, but, a falco and a wolf, mechanically very similar. I mean, it's like a Metapod versus a Kakuna, for a Pokemon analogy here. What do you really do there? You kind of know what the other one's capable of.
Yeah, but there are some very, very crucial differences between Falco and Wolf. Obviously, Wolf has that side B, number one, completely different than either Fox or Falco, just in terms of usage. The different reflector from Falco as well. And we do see that come out here from Moxie on the side of Fisher East. Again, Cross, 1 stock deficit here. Gonna look to bring this back to true neutral.
I'm surprised that, Palutena hasn't made an appearance yet, but this is a fantastic opportunity to really see kind of a Star Fox character versus Star Fox character here. This is, I gotta say, really cool opportunity so far.
Savor this moment, because this is the most Star Fox you're going to get for the next decade. But in the meantime, it seems like no one has clear advantage immediately, although Cross racking up this early percentage. A lot of these aerials doing so much. The drag downs are there, not a kill being secured there, but it's darn close. Wolf got a haircut from that top blast zone now. Looking to be the one in control here.
It seems like we're having a bit of a gameplay issue. Okay, just a little bit of lag. I still get flashbacks to the Wi-Fi days.
Oh boy, don't even remind me. And Moxie gets the forward smash kill here, sitting at 116. Not great. Wolf, pretty significantly heavier than Falco here, so might be able to survive a couple more good hits.
Yeah, it seems like Wolf is able to kind of do what Falco does, but, not necessarily better, but is able to adapt pretty well around Falco's movements here. So we're seeing him try to really take a hold here, but Wolf is in a very dangerous position to go back down to 2 stocks, so obviously don't want that to happen here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Crust just really struggling to find this kill move. Wherever it is, it's not here right now. Moxie gets another 74% onto Crust. Wow, he's sitting pretty at 178%. The kill sparks fly, but the DI is just too good. Moxie still staying in and able to make it back to stage. Gets Crust on the back foot here, but drops the shield a little too early. Finally loses that stock.
2-1 stocks left. If you're Crust right now, you're thinking, okay, yeah, I gotta get myself in gear here. It's quite the stock difference, and you're obviously in a very stressed position right now. You're at 120%, and there's there's quite a bit at stake here.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do. So you gotta toe that line, play risky but not too risky, play safe but not so safe that you're not doing anything. Already this percentage is coming up here, but goes right into the grab off that side beam. This is a very risky maneuver and not the kind of risky that I was asking about.
Yeah,
Moxie, though, at 75, it's real scary at ledge here.
Even the crowd is just biting their nails in suspense of what's happening here, because the wrong move can send Falco flying, and they were not looking forward to that happening.
Yeah, no, that was a nail biter in every sense of the world. A lot of buttons being pushed there. I'm not gonna comment
Mostly
on
A
just
and
how
B.
many of them. I'm not going to comment on just how many of them actually connected, but a very solid effort from Crust there. Now it all falls to, I believe, El Jefe. Here.
El Jefe and Incineroar. Incineroar Wolf. I don't know what to make of that.
I feel like we're constantly seeing a flow of matchups that we've never seen before.
And that's the beauty with Smash. Like, not to, I'm not going to go on a whole rant about it, but there's almost 80 characters. So the amount of matchups, I'm pretty sure like it was calculated at some point, but there's a lot of freaking matchups you can make with 80 characters.
Yeah, there's what, like 83, I think? Something like that, something in that ballpark. Let me do some quick math really quickly. Let's
No, but with all those matchups, it's hard to anticipate what to really expect next. But let's see, if we're just thinking, taking it for face value, Incineroar, sort of a heavy character, very devastating side special. Wolf is kind of a zoner, but really good in close quarters and can do pretty all right in the air when it comes to recovery. How do you fight against that as kind of a more of a stage hand here?
I mean, what I would say normally is you kind of don't, because you kind of just get outmaneuvered. But we've seen El Jefe, and we've seen the work that he's been able to put in on Incineroar, and I'm not going to count a single thing out at this point. I am looking to that revenge, to that down B counter that Incineroar has, because that, while not being a traditional counter, it is so strong. We saw it, I believe, last week, where that revenge, what it does is when you get hit with it active, sends out a small hitbox, does a little bit of damage, but more importantly, it amplifies the damage and knockback of your next move to hit. So, if you're able to stack a couple of revenges up, all of a sudden, 30% could just be kill range.
And we're about to see how much Incineroar can really put that to the test. It is a 2-3 stock difference here. It's going to be an interesting battle for Fisher, to say the least.
Absolutely. Already Moxie, the one taking the first hit. Although the side B from El Jefe is there as a response. Nobody finding a true opening right now. A couple of hits being sent through, but only a 0.1% differential here. Finally gets evened up a little bit. It looks like Moxie is taking a little bit of stage control, but not enough to truly claw it away from El Jefe.
Yeah, it seems like both fighters here are...
That could happen?
I almost want to throw away what I was about to say. I was going to say that they're kind of just poking each other here to really see what lands. I think it's safe to say they figured out what lands.
Yeah, both of them did, apparently. 2 stocks down. El Jefe sitting at 2, Moxie only with 1 left. The only difference is El Jefe, the only remaining player for SNHU in this game. El Jefe has to pull something out real quick and might be looking for it. The combo starting and the shield pressure is massive.
That shield almost was detrimental to Wolf's final stock here. You know, if you're Wolf right now, you're panicking. You can't just shield your way out of this, or, you know, you can't just throw on a shield and think of a plan later.
There's
and with
revenge.
the revenge, you're in a tough spot right now as Wolf.
That's a lot of percentage suddenly. Moxie sitting at 90% off of that. The opportunity was there, but El Jefe just doesn't take it. The parry on the first hit of the jab doesn't feel much as the second and third hits come out too quickly. The perfectly spaced side B does a bunch of damage to these two. Even percentages, but the side B comes out. GI is there. Moxie again living so deep into this stock. 132, still hanging on. Has the stage control, looking to secure yet another stock on El Jefe, but El Jefe still able to maintain a presence on the stage. He just doesn't fall. The star KO is there. This is about as even as it could be at this juncture.
I gotta tell you, the crowd is loving this right now. You know, just the Smash team is just losing it. The energy in here is electric, and this is fantastic.
El Jefe.
Wow.
El Jefe bringing this down to a good old, slightly dishonest 1v1 as El Jefe is going to be down to 2 stocks. But, I mean, this is...
You know, I'm going to throw away anything I ever said about Incineroar as a character. You know, I kind of just threw him away and dismissed him as kind of just a Pokemon, whatever. Incineroar can be pretty dang good.
Dude, Incineroar is sick. I don't care what anyone else said. That character is sick. I will not stand for any slander against the Incineroar pick, because we've seen consistently at this point how strong of a pick it is in the right hands. And evidently, El Jefe is the right hands. I mean, if there's any set proving that, it's that one.
Oh, man. You know, if I'm Fisher right now, I'm thinking, what? That is the end of that question.
Yeah, how'd we get here?
How did we get here? No, but, you know, I said it the last 2 times, and, you know, unless if they have a 5th in the wings, I think we all know who's left. The Luxa on the Palutena.
Yeah, I mean,
who else do they have that we don't know about? You know, Fisher, like, come on, tell us.
They could have something sitting in the wings here that they've not yet had to use, but I do kind of expect that Palutena to come out, because we have seen that fairly consistently whenever this Fisher squad does come up to the plate here. But I don't know. This is, again, we're in unfamiliar territory here. I don't think we've ever seen Fisher down to 2 players left, let alone 1. So
definitely an exhilarating match, to say the least. And again, first match of the set. Like, you know, whichever side wins here, that's not the end of it. Like, there's still more game to go.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part.
This is such a sick set. And you know what? This is like the first half, maybe third of the set. Like, how can you not be happy with that? This is a good day.
You know, if I was at home, I would be, you know, I would have a bowl of popcorn in front of me, because this is just good content.
Well, I mean, I'm just glad to be here for it. I'm glad that you're here for it.
I'm glad that I'm here for it too.
Everyone who's in the arena is in the arena for it, because, I mean,
the Smash team's reactions alone just really add to, like, the chaos of this match.
What I would give to have our Smash squad at every one of our games in person.
Oh, man.
These dudes turn up at everything. It is the best. And it makes my job easier, because then when they're getting hype, I'm getting hype. When I'm getting hype, they're getting hype.
They're the kinds of people you want to have around whenever there's a Nintendo Direct going on.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when was the last time we had one of those? It was a little bit ago, wasn't it?
September, but we did have an Indie World today.
There was an Indie World today?
Yeah. I'm surprised you did not know about that.
Chucks.
I'm chronically online, which is why I knew about it.
I see. Well, regardless of that, I mean, I really want to see what Fisher pulls out when their backs are against the wall here. This is, again, something we haven't seen, and I don't think this is something that many teams have seen, period. Fisher just kind of stands in a league of their own whenever they play. So getting this
Make no mistake, Fisher is a very, very tough school in terms of skill level. But this is very interesting territory for all of us here.
yeah, I mean, it really is like completely uncharted territory. But I believe that
Yeah, we're gonna throw to a short break because apparently Fisher's last player, Luxa, will be playing here in person. That is what I have been told.
indeed it has.
I did not know you could do that.
Why not?
I mean, I don't know why not, but that happened last year?
Yes.
I should have known. I was in the prod room the whole time. But, yeah, that is happening.
Well,
Apparently again.
Regardless, if you did not have enough time on the first break to grab your snack, get some water, get comfy, do it now, because this is going to be a good matchup here, and only the start of what's next in this set. We will catch you again right after this quick break. Hello, everybody. We are back, and
I'm always like offset. No, Duffy's the only one that can do that. He's the only one that can do that. I give him permission.
Duffy is too busy doing business out here. We have had a new player
We've had
enter the Connection Esports Arena.
some could say an intruder. Some would say a good sparring opponent or guest. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Regardless, Luxa is here. In person. Live. Real. I saw him.
I also saw
I
it.
saw him walk in the door.
I was, walking back from filling up my water bottle, and he almost ran right into me.
So we can confirm that this has suddenly turned into a LAN. So I don't know. Whoever loses this for this last game does not have any right to complain about online lag.
That is true. That is true.
All I'm saying is if I hear one word about input delay or any of that, you're out.
Yeah, and let me tell you, and this is the big if, Fisher does not win the set, it's going to be an awkward drive home for Luxa, isn't it?
Well, the drive home would be a little bit later for sure because we'd still have a lot of game left to play, but.
And also, just to correct what I said earlier, Luxa does not play Palu. I got Luxa mixed up with someone else. Sorry about that. He plays Ike and Joker. Just wanted to get that out of the way. As we're about to see right here.
Yep, there is the Joker. They're coming out from Luxa. El Jefe taking that one stock off. This is a 3-2 game. Luxa only has to take 2 stocks, which on this Joker might seem like a bit of a trivial task just off of tier list alone, but we've seen what El Jefe can do when he's in the driver's seat on this Incineroar.
However, it seems like what he can't do is get around this Joker, because Joker is just getting at him from all angles. He's already at 100%. He got the revenge off, and he's a powerhouse, but he just cannot land a good opportunity to get a hit on him, and Joker misses the grapple. All right then.
That certainly is unfortunate, but it's the break that El Jefe was looking for. Sitting at 144, Joker doesn't have a ton of kill moves without the Arsene, but those smash attacks would do the trick, looking for the 2-frame or maybe the roll read off of ledge. Still only getting a grab. El Jefe might be looking for something here. The counter, though, does come out from Luxa. Does mean that Arsene is going to be here momentarily, and that's where being at such a high percentage is very, very dangerous.
Case in point, Joker already, Luxa is just darting around the stage at an incredible pace, but with Arsene, take what I just said and then add, powerhouse and, ability to KO pretty quickly, and you've got Luxa right here.
Absolutely.
The whole package.
But look at how much damage El Jefe was able to do during that Arsene. I mean, it didn't look like that was particularly advantageous towards Luxa. If anything, it felt like it gave El Jefe a lot more room to work with.
Yeah, and, Joker is in a tough spot. It's 1-1. I can't believe I'm seeing this right now.
No.
El Jefe has to play out of his mind if he wants to put SNHU ahead in this set right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And at 122, courtesy of that damage over time, it's not going to be easy, but we've definitely seen that it is possible. If 1 or 2 slip-ups happen here, Luxa could be subject to a couple of revenge-fueled, rage-fueled hits, but genuinely not seeming too wary of it at the moment here. El Jefe sitting at 150 with about 75% charged up on that Arsene meter. Not the ideal situation for El Jefe.
And, I'm seeing El Jefe really try to get that side special to land because that's his bread and butter with dealing damage, and I gotta say, that is the closest game I have ever seen between us and Fisher. That was incredible to watch.
Yes, and that is only the start of the set.
That is true. That was only round 1 of the set, so we definitely have more game to go. But well played.
I mean, absolutely.
That was fantastic.
I can't sum it up any other way. I mean, really, that was just so well played from both sides. Obviously, it's always a treat to have, making sure that they're going the right way.
Yeah, I don't want more people walking in front of the desk.
It's always a treat to have Luxa over here whenever these two teams play. It's always a fun atmosphere because despite any pre-existing school-to-school rivalries, these guys all know each other.
And at GSG, it's a completely different vibe compared to like the NECC. NECC, we get competitive. That's just the nature of a tournament. For Instant Grind, yeah, it's a tournament, but you know what? We're all good friends about it. And I think that spirit is really carrying over into this matchup here.
Absolutely, and I mean, this is not the only time that we've seen Luxa at the Connection Esports Arena, although it does not happen particularly commonly. These guys just all appreciate being around each other, regardless of what school they go to. And
Yeah,
I think that's really admirable.
Yeah, that's the beauty of collegiate esports. We're kind of all in the same ballpark here. We're all playing the same game. We're all, paying a lot for school. We've got a lot of common.
Yeah, we got our grades to worry about. Got a bunch of classes.
Oh no, I have a Super Smash Brothers due at 8 p.m.
But I mean, realistically, seems like the players get just debriefing a little bit from that banger of a game one, and as we get ready for game two, we are going to throw to a quick break here. Get yourselves ready, because if that first game was an indication, we're going to be going for the long haul here.
Stay tuned.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. It seems we are just about ready to get into this game. Still have a little bit of time left to go, but everybody's just about all set. What do you expect to see here from both sides after that first impeccable game?
Ness versus Mario. Sorry to spoil it,
Spoilers, no.
No, but just like the last set, I'm expecting some good, clean fun with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, released for the Nintendo Switch family of systems. Just generally, a hard-fought battle. That is what I'm looking for.
Absolutely, and Tony Pajamas bringing it right to Steven here, not letting anything happen easily here, but Steven seems to have found a little bit of an approach angle, not for long though, already at 90% is dangerous territory for Mario.
I am noticing the trend of Ness, having an excellent stage guard with that down smash being the yo-yo. That's a great way of zoning people out, trying to get back to stage. I feel like, a lot of players have not necessarily fallen for it as if it's a trick, but, it definitely has caught us off guard a few times.
It's so difficult because it forces you to actively make a decision. And it's not always an advantageous one. Generally, it's a 50-50, but that one, not quite so. Tony Pajama's getting the early stock here.
Yeah, and Mario's kind of just running around, trying to poke Ness from various angles, really trying to find the best approach. Straightforward, isn't really working out. So trying to, dance around and maybe chuck a couple fireballs. Ness is seeing that and is raising a absorb with the down special, and with the fireball and PK fire, it's literally fighting fire with fire. So Mario is kind of at odds here.
Absolutely, and again, that yo-yo coming in so clutch because it actively makes Steven change the way that he is going to recover and puts him kind of on the spot here. These aerials so strong from Tony. I mean, you're really in a tough spot if you're Steven because you get very limited control of the stage, but that's where the air comes into play. Steven gets another stock here on to Tony.
Yeah, and going back down to 2-1, if you're Steven right now, you have to be thinking, I've already taken a stock off before. What worked before, that works now. And, if you're the Ness, you're trying to anticipate both the strats that you know and love, but also, how is Mario going to be able to play around me? And is he going to? There's a lot of mental gymnastics at play right now. And it seems like Ness is still getting the upper hand, but Mario definitely is a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, and you can never count Mario out because those ladder combos can just kind of happen to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much counterplay. Once you get hit with one or two of those hits, it's gonna be enough to get a big combo going, but speaking of being enough, that big yo-yo on ledge, that's enough to send Steven packing here for game 2 in this set.
And, like I was saying, that yo-yo is just an excellent, just Ness in general. Fantastic edge guarder, between the yo-yo, the recovery, also acting as a guided projectile, and, the PK fire, you have so many projectiles at your disposal. Ness can be pretty dangerous.
Dangerous and annoying. That is one of those characters that I do not like playing.
If you find a Ness online, you are in for a bad time.
Yeah, that's when you just, whoopsie, my internet went out. Oh no, my controller died.
I accidentally unplugged my satellite. I'm assuming that's how Wi-Fi. I don't know. There's people that play with satellite. Right. I'm gonna stop talking.
But yeah, no, Ness is one of those characters that kind of has all the tools, has a bunch of really solid projectiles, has some really strong aerials. I think that goes without saying, given what we saw in that game. I mean,
I'm hearing them talk about sending in Thrigs, and we've seen before that Thrigs is kind of a wild card. You never truly know what he's going to throw out there, so yeah, I'm interested to see what Thrigs has in store for us.
Because Bro has 3 characters that he plays, and then I don't think I've ever seen one of them classed traditionally as secondary, tertiary. I think he just kind of plays them all, and he makes them work. Generally, I believe
some would say that he just picks random and just goes along with it, which probably not, but imagine if that was the case.
The fact that the option is there.
That would mean that no 2 matches with Thrigs are quite the same, which I think is an interesting style of play.
I mean, what better way to prevent your opponent from getting the download than not knowing what character you're going to play until 10 seconds before the match starts?
But at the same time, you don't even know what you're going to do. You're just going to fumble around until you figure it out.
But luckily for Thrigs, I think he does not pick random here. Generally, I believe has kind of leaned on that Sephiroth a little bit, but does have a very wide pool of characters that he does pick from. So really, I mean, we're kind of doing a lot of speculation right now.
I mean, hey, speculation is my bread and butter here. Considering the characters that I've seen Thrigs play, I've seen him play Ridley, and thinking about how Ridley is a very close quarters oriented character, I feel like it wouldn't be wise to go with that one. The Sephiroth, like you were saying, there's a lot you can do there. I mean, the Reflect alone, that doubles as a counter, the range of Sephiroth's sword, there's a lot that you could do with Sephiroth, even projectile-wise, and some of that damage over time. Sephiroth has a lot at his disposal.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful with those projectiles from Sephiroth, because as we have seen, Ness does have that Absorb, which not only deletes projectiles from the field, but gives him a little bit of healing as well. So you don't want to send, the full charge Sephiroth, neutral B? Directly into a Ness down B, because then you'll just give him his entire stock worth of health back.
I mean, at that point, I would look at Snake being someone that also specializes in projectiles, but I don't know if those can be absorbed by Ness.
I think one or two of them can, but it's kind of a difficult balance, because a lot of those projectiles have other hitboxes.
The name of the game, I find, is overwhelming your opponent so that they never really know your next move. But just as I figured, the Sephiroth is in play here.
Sephiroth in play. Only has to take 2 stocks here from Tony on the Ness. We're back on Pokemon Stadium here. And already Tony looking for the immediate rushdown.
Yeah, the Sephiroth, I mean, he's a little tough to wind up. But once you get the Sephiroth going, he's moving. We're already seeing him rack up a bit of damage. I mean, just the length of his sword it's really working out well for him. Not quite enough to zone him out to make him necessarily immune to any PK fires, but definitely enough to kind of keep him at bay from those side aerials that Ness likes to use a lot.
Yeah, Thrig's doing a really great job here of spacing this out, using the size of this stage to his advantage, and getting a lot of damage very early onto Tony Pajamas. Now with this wing out, that just gets amplified, sends Tony into the scoreboard there. And suddenly Tony Pajamas, with only a minute depleted in this game, down to 1 stock.
And the Sephiroth going down. But, this goes to show that, Sephiroth can truly, if you can zone out a Ness, you're in a pretty good spot. And, Sephiroth is an interesting enough character that you can quite literally do that. Although, like I said, Sephiroth takes a bit of time to wind up before he can really start going at full force. And we're seeing the result of that already close to kill percent, or I believe at kill percent now.
Yeah, that's where Sephiroth struggles, is trying to get in a position where you can space out the Ness, because Ness is so quick, so obnoxious, has so many approach tools. It makes it difficult to actually do what you want to as Sephiroth.
At that point, projectiles are also out of the question. You have your damage over time projectiles with Sephiroth and your neutral B, but, with the Absorb and the risk of that and, a lot of wind-up time, Ness can easily prepare for that, and next thing you know, you're left wondering, what do I do next? So working with more physical, melee-based attacks is your best bet with Sephiroth, as we're seeing here.
Yeah, absolutely gets a little bit of work done, but again, Thrig's kind of in a tough spot here. Does have that wing, so gonna get some boost to all the numbers here. But, I mean, one good move from a Sephiroth will probably take Tony Pajamas out at this point, but...
Especially with the one wing, which, if I'm not mistaken, will boost his ability to dish out a lot more damage. I could be wrong about that, but both are in a very rough spot. If you're either Thrigs or Tony, you are on the edge of your seat, and unfortunately, Tony took the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it felt to me like Thrigs was relying a bit too much on that dodge roll, leaving himself a little bit open to a lot of those attacks from Ness. I mean, and Ness has so many strong moves that can punish a roll, let's not even talk about Ness's back throw. Let's leave that out of the conversation entirely, because I don't want to think about it right now.
You still need time to process that, I see.
Yeah,
Sephiroth is a fantastic character, but just does not have the speed to really deal with a swift, quick damage, get damage quick scheme character like Ness. Ness was just dancing circles around Sephiroth.
Absolutely, but with only one stock remaining, I mean, this is not like the best position for Tony at all. I mean, if you lose one stock to anything, you're done for the rest of this game. And then we've seen, I think every player on this SNHU Blue squad go on full team tears. I'm not expecting that just because of the level of competition that we are playing at, but it's been demonstrated in the past that all of these players can take out entire teams.
Absolutely, and we're seeing Crust go in with the Falco, and I want to say that even though his blaster can be absorbed by Ness, I feel like he has a good shot. Falco is a relatively swift character. We've seen Crust get plenty of damage off in a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. Crust definitely has the opportunity there, especially with the stock difference alone. I mean, I figured that's almost not even worth mentioning because, we were 2-1 going into the Thrigs-Tony matchup, and we saw what happened there. So really anything is possible at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing with Falco, too, that is worth mentioning is Falco is so quick, which means that he can take stocks quickly. Has that back air that we see Crust end so many of his combos with, that comes out really quickly and can end stocks in a stab. Otherwise, obviously you got your smash attacks, you got that spike with the down air. I mean, so many options for Crust to secure this last stock. Let's see if he can actually do that here going into this game.
Yep, Ness going down to clear out those two stocks. If you're Tony, you're thinking, okay, I know what I'm good at, but I also got to be pretty careful because the wrong move can definitely leave me in a vulnerable position. Falco, we're already seeing kind of being zoned off the stage and spiked
my goodness.
In 30 seconds. That is very unfortunate for Crust right now.
That was a not so careful play being made by a player that you'd expect to be playing a lot more careful. No fear in the eyes of Tony or Ness for that matter. You're right, that's such an early stock that you don't want to lose if you're a Crust, but you can't let that get to you.
Yeah, and we're seeing Crust try to outspeed Ness, I could tell from the side specials on stage here. And, Falco also really works well when it comes to aerial moves, able to get a lot of damage off when he's able to go into those aerials. But, Ness knows exactly what Crust is putting down. So this creates a bit of a difficult scenario for both parties involved here, especially after taking that one stock, You got to feel a lot more confident if you're Tony right now.
Absolutely, but still the unstoppable force is meeting the immovable logic right now, but it seems like Crust may have found the recipe. The antidote, though, to the poison in the dish is some great DI from Tony there. Still 128 to 95%. Neither of these players are in great spots. That back throw, as we mentioned, doing so much, but that up smash is the one to secure yet another stock for Tony Pajamas.
Yeah, and that side special is just, it's a blessing and a curse for Falco. As we saw, he side specialed right into an up smash. The thing with that, assuming you're on top of your inputs, you can account for Falco's side special with a perfectly aimed smash attack, and it's over for your opponent.
Yeah, I mean,
And am I crazy, or did I see Ness teabag on stage?
I mean, we're just waiting for Crust to send out the blaster, I think, but it doesn't happen. Crust, able to secure that last stock, only has one of his own, but can get a lot of mileage out of that, as we have seen throughout the rest of this season.
Yeah, interesting matchup all around, and definitely one of the more interesting games I've been around for. But I never like to be pessimistic, but SNHU needs to play out of their absolute minds if they want a shot at taking this set.
Very much so, and I have to agree. SNHU seems to have lost a little bit of the momentum that they had in that first game in the set. Now they're kind of on the back foot. Tried some different things, didn't quite work out.
And if you're Crust right now, you've won the battle, but not the war.
Exactly.
You took down the first pillar of Fisher, which is definitely an accomplishment. Don't get me wrong, but there is still a ways to go, especially when you know what's on deck.
Yeah, unfortunately for SNHU, we have a set to win, so just taking down Tony is not going to quite get the score evened up in the actual match, but it's the start of something. The water is beginning to flow through the dam, the cracks are showing. Now SNHU Blue have to realize this and capitalize.
That is absolutely right, and I can't help but wonder, if you're Fisher right now, do you just go with what has worked in the past and just send in Luxa, or do you do the unthinkable and just send in some of your other team members? Because as we've seen, they can definitely hold their own, but at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, it's really and this is where I'd love to hear some insight from these coaches, because I want to wonder, I sort of wonder what the thought process is. When you're in this position, do you want to try to end this quickly? Do you want to just play your normal and see how it works? We do see Bird coming out again, so seeming to go for the latter is Fisher East. We saw Bird got quite a bit of work done, actually had the matchup with Crust as well.
Interesting matchup with the Pac-Man. Not to say that they're a bad match per se, but I do think that while Falco is pretty swift and good with his blaster for zoning out, and good with being up close and personal, Pac-Man can definitely stall and annoy the opponent with the fire hydrant, as we're seeing right here, and then just the various obstacles and projectiles he has at his disposal. But it looks like Crust is really trying to make quick work of him at the moment.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Crust, every single percentage point that you take matters so much. I mean, at this point, they're not quite rested on your back, but the playoff hopes, they're looming, and you know that the rest of your team is looking to you to get as much work done as possible on this last stock. Getting a little bit scary trying to chase down that fire hydrant, able to make it back to stage, though, no problem.
Yeah, it seems like Pac-Man is trying to play catch-up here, losing a life already. Trying to figure out, okay, this Falco is dancing circles around me. What can I throw at him to kind of keep him off my back for a couple seconds while I plant a fire hydrant or prepare my next projectile? You got to think, what am I to do here?
Yeah, great angle on that strawberry there, but we saw earlier that Bird did have the bell ready, but it just didn't hit. Just a little bit wide there, but might not matter. Crust sitting at 140. That watermelon going to do a lot of damage if it hits, but it doesn't. Crust staying in relative safety at the moment, but has to play very passive when these fire hydrants are down, because those are an approach tool for Bird on the Pac-Man here. Doesn't even need it. Gets the back throw, and that is enough to secure Crust's last stock here. Finally, one player left for SNHU Blue.
It's been an exhilarating night, but, it's going to be tough. If we want to get the crowd hyped again, we need to see the most godly strat right now. And I think Insignia is, he's determined. He's determined to make that happen.
So it seems, and I mean, if there's any player that I kind of trust to run this back, it would be Insignia. For all I joke at this desk at his expense, genuinely a star player, so good at the game. I can't. There's no better way for me to put that other than to just say, My God, Insignia's really good at the video game.
That well said, I suppose.
So well said that it's starting to make you choke up a little bit, evidently. But
It's killing me.
I mean, better not be killing you. My act isn't that good yet. But I mean, Insignia has proven time and time and time again across multiple semesters, multiple seasons, that is a force to be reckoned with on this SNHU Blue roster. And I mean, just in general, always puts on a bit of a clinic at the Granite State Grind events that we run every month.
Let's see what kind of show he'll put on here against the Pac-Man, though, because, as Bowser, all the projectiles in the world can definitely rack up damage, but, as Bowser, you can sustain to take a few blows to the head, so to speak. So I think we're going to be seeing a result of that in this matchup.
Absolutely. I mean, Bowser hits so hard, has such longevity. The problem is just going to be outmaneuvering Pac-Man, I think, just because he has so many silly, goofy, quirky movement options. I mean,
as we're seeing right here, Pac-Man is able, provided he has the chance, is able to bounce around him, but, Insignia is just not having any of that. And, his, not resilience, but ability to take a heavy fire hydrant or two definitely gives him a tactical advantage here.
Absolutely, but this big hitbox kind of seeming a little bit detrimental here. A lot of damage very early onto Insignia, already at 150. Meanwhile, Bird only at about 90. That's a lot of damage off that Bowser bomb. Might be able to catch something quick there, but the fire hydrant does come out. That does not send you quite into special fall. The bell is on the field, turns into a key. That's a lot of shield damage, but nothing else. Insignia, again, staying alive at 180 to the hydrant. Such a scary presence on stage here, but yeah, Insignia, so much rage behind every single attack here. I think one more might do the trick. The DI is there to survive that back throw from Bird on the Pac-Man. A lot of projectiles being sent through on ledge, but finally Insignia able to make it back onto stage. Doesn't fall for the same hydrant trick again, instead uses it to his advantage, gets another stock onto Bird here. Has to play very carefully if he wants to get any more mileage out of this one.
I gotta say, I'm impressed that Insignia made it that far.
Oh my God.
On one stock, 230%.
Dude got stunned and lived. Ends up getting hit off of the ledge recovery there, but is able to make something out of, pretty much nothing there for a brief moment. Now Bird finally able to get something cooking of his own.
Kiwi is just absolutely going crazy right now. Kiwi's just trying to finish the job, but Insignia is saying, no, let me teach you a thing or two about playing a tanky character. But, I'm seeing a lot of aerial movement here with that side special for Pac-Man. Being able to make that path, that trail up to the skybox and being able to drop a hydrant from above. Definitely an interesting advantage, almost like a Kirby down B.
Yeah, Kiwi's movement very, very good, but evidently not quite good enough. Only able to take one stock from Insignia, and even that was looking a little dicey for a few moments there. That's not perfect, but that's the start of an uphill battle.
It's far from the ideal situation you would want to find your team in, but SNHU has a shot. A very uphill battle, I would say, but a shot nonetheless. And, I want to see how far Insignia could take this, personally. I would love to see that. And judging by what I'm seeing right now, I think they're sending in Luxa. Well, I think they're sending in Luxa to kind of seal the deal here.
Either way, looking confident going in. Got the tank top on, took off the jacket. Bro's ready to play.
He's got a big grin on his face, both to play against SNHU in the NECC, but also to play against Insignia, as sparring partners.
I think there is a word for that. Friends. They're friends.
Oh, I was just going to call it gaming. I don't know what the whole Friends thing is about. Is there like a game that tells me about Friends? Is
If
that
you-
like a DLC I can get?
Well, there's a list of them. But anyway, Luxa,
So yeah, we are seeing Luxa on the Joker. Oh boy, Joker. I can see this going both ways. Even with Arsene, I feel like Bowser as a powerhouse can prove to be a very beneficial skill set. We're seeing Luxa rack up a lot of damage early on, and that is that's going to cost quite a bit in the long term.
yeah, multi-hits are so scary on these big bodies.
And it doesn't help that, Joker's neutral B is definitely getting a couple good shots on him when he's in the air, so you're kind of being hit from all angles.
Absolutely, but after all that work, Luxa is able to net 100% onto Insignia, and in the same time, Insignia's hit like 2 or 3 moves and gotten up to... you know what? Scrap that!
Yeah, it took
He's
one
like-
or two moves to get him to kill percent, evidently.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I was going with that finishing my sentence. For me, Insignia, though, again, at 1:42, this is not ideal. No Arsene coming up just yet, so no kill moves quite ready yet for Joker. I was waiting to see if that smash attack would do the trick, but no, that random normal aerial will do the job anyways.
Yeah, and Bowser's really trying to find his footing here on the stage. I can't help but anticipate a Pokemon Stadium 2 moment. I feel like that's gonna be what really decides this, because I can see Insignia. There's that drive. There is like that speed for him, working out for him. Like, he could take the stock off of Luxa and make it 1-1. All it takes is one PS2 moment to really shake things up.
Absolutely, or some great damage from an Arsene. Luxa goes deep, gets the aerial off stage, and with that, at home, Luxa is going to make sure that Fisher East moves on. That was a great showing there from both teams. Very rare that we get to see 4 whole players of Fisher's roster, let alone one in the flesh.
Yeah, jokes aside, a match well played by Fisher College as always. Luxa giving us a good wave there. I mean, thank you. Good show, good show. Excellent, well played to all players, and being able to see more of Fisher's team comp was definitely something I did not expect to see tonight.
Yeah, no, and I think that a lot of teams are going to be looking back at this footage, whether it be here on Twitch as all our VODs are saved, or as you politely, say every single time you're up here on our YouTube channel.
That is
where
true.
We post all our VODs.
That is true. I will be. I am the archivist for our Twitch channel. So definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. That is where we put all of our stream highlights, and just our stream archive. Definitely give it a watch.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of some footage that's going to be very, very valuable. I feel like to a lot of these teams going into week 2 of playoffs here. It's a rare look that we get to see more than 2 players from Fisher. You see Tony and whoever else they started off first that day. Whereas this time, you got to see just about every member of that Fisher East squad. So,
Gives us a good idea of what to expect. And if you're keeping up with the NECC Smash Ultimate playoffs, you might have an idea of what to expect going into the playoff season, both as a player in the bracket, but also as a viewer of the streams.
yeah, I don't believe this is double elim either,
Not to my knowledge, it is not.
unless I am entirely mistaken, which I'm sure if I am, someone in this building will call me out.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, I kept thinking Lux was a Palu main.
I mean, we got it mixed up with someone else. That's okay. But regardless, I believe it does spell the end of SNHU Blues playoff run here.
Well done performance from our team as always.
Yeah.
I always look forward to coming in every Tuesday to see what the Smash team is cooking. Win or lose, they always put on an excellent show. So A game well played to SNHU Blue here.
Yeah, but that's not the end of all of our team's playoffs runs. We still have plenty more happening this week, I believe. Tomorrow?
That sounds about right. We do have League of Legends.
We have League of Legends going up tomorrow, so that's always exciting. And Thursday,
we have some Overwatch.
I'll be there.
He will be there.
I'll be there. If y'all have seen, again, our Overwatch team, our Overwatch Sapphire team, kind of like our SNHU Blue Super Smash Brothers team, in that they kind of had that juggernaut season, went undefeated, kind of just blew a hole through the division, so to speak. And after that game last Thursday, oh man, I'm excited to see what happens comes playoffs. So make sure you tune in to both of those games. Is there anything else that we need to yell about, announce, otherwise play at here at this desk?
The most I could say is, if you're not already following this Twitch channel, do so right now. It really helps us out. Sub to the YouTube channel, as I already said, but be sure to follow all of our social media, SNHU Esports, on all major platforms. You know, your Instagrams, your TikToks, your Twitters, or whatever they're calling it these days. And be sure, most importantly, join our Discord server so you can get updates on all of our matches and all events that will be happening, including the next Grand State Grind.
Well, I've heard that's cooking. I don't know if we are in the clear to announce the date just yet, but please, as you said, stay tuned to all of our channels. There's plenty of good stuff cooking right now at the SNHU Esports program, even so late in this semester.
If nothing else, join the Discord server for the community. I see a lot of people talking in there, and it's a fantastic experience.
Sometimes everyone just gets like the same hive mind, and we all post cat gifs. It's great.
Or the same picture of Duffy.
That too. That does happen. That's a sticker in our Discord.
It's iconic. Like, that is, if I were to give you one reason to join the Discord server, it's for the Duffy sticker and nothing else.
Absolutely. But regardless, thank you to everyone for joining us here, either in the Connection Esports Arena or at home. Thank you to Luxa, who I don't think is listening to us right now, for showing up, playing some games on LAN for the first time this season. Always a treat to see. And unless there's anything else, I think that will get us done for the night. Thank you so much, Mike, for being here. Once again, your presence will be very dearly missed at this desk.
Hey, who knows? I might be back here same time next week. Who knows? All the more reason to stay tuned to our Twitch.
Well, anyways, have a great night, everyone. I hope you really enjoyed that set. I know I did. I know Mike did. We will see you tomorrow with some League of Legends. Towards Luxa, if anything, it felt like it gave El Jefe a lot more room to work with.
Yeah, and you know, Joker is in a tough spot. It's 1-1. Aimed smash attack, and it's over for your opponent.
Yeah, I mean,
And am I crazy, or did I see Ness teabag on stage?
I mean, we're just waiting to Insignia, and in the same time, Insignia's hit like 2 or 3 moves and gotten up to. You know what? Scrap that.
Yeah, it took 1 or 2 moves to get him to kill me in a vulnerable position. Falco, we're already seeing kind of being zoned off the stage and spiked.
Oh my goodness.
In 30 seconds.
Using the size of this stage to his advantage and getting a lot of damage very early on to Tony Pajamas. Now with this wing out, that just gets amplified. Sends Tony yet another stock onto El Jefe, but El Jefe